Now Alexander was lord of Asia. He camped here at the ancient city of Hecaton Pylos. His troops were elated. The war was over. They could go home. Alexander, though, had other ideas. He addressed the army. Alexander began his speech by looking back over the 4 years of conquest which had brought them together from the Balkans to the verge of Afghanistan. It had been a long haul. "You want to go home," he said. "I understand your feelings," milking them for a bit of sentiment. "I want to go home too. I'd like to see my mother again and my loved ones," he said. "But if we go back now, everything will be lost. We may have won the military battle, but the battle for hearts and minds is only just beginning. You don't think a people like the Persians are going to lie down and accept Greek rule just like that? It's the beginning of a long process. Besides, the murderers of Darius are still at large. Bessus is claiming to be king of the Persians. If we go back, he'll consolidate his power, raise an army. He'll be knocking at our back door soon. No. Either we let it all go, or we go on to take everything." "Look, boys," you can imagine him saying, can't you? It's only 4-day march to catch up with him, lying in his teeth about what lay ahead. Nothing for you. Nothing for men who've crossed so many mountains and rivers. Come on. We're on the threshold of victory and eternal fame. Once again, Alexander had won them over. They camped north of the Elburz Mountains in what's now Turkoman country. They've always bred fine horses here, and Alexander could make good his losses. To keep up morale, he held games, horse racing and wrestling. But as the army enjoyed itself, there were nagging worries about the king's real plans. The rumor had now spread that he really wanted to go on and conquer the whole world. Alexander now announced that he planned to train thousands of young Persian boys as Macedonian cavalrymen. And he himself began to wear Persian robes. He was going Persian, the veterans grumbled. This wasn't what they'd fought for. To placate them, Alexander said his men could now marry their women captives and take them on the campaign eastwards. But that only suggested that they might never see their own families again. Slowly but surely, links with Macedonia were being cut. That night, the Turkomans told me tales of Alexander, who's one of their great folk heroes. Like Muslims right across Asia, they call him the two-horned one. To them, Alexander's an almost supernatural figure. Magician, magus, Superman. In their songs, Alexander climbs the heavens, plumbs the oceans, and finds the spring of eternal life. And he meets a tribe of female warriors, just as he does in a famous Greek tale. One day, an extraordinary visitor rode into the Greek camp, an Amazon queen who ruled a tribe only of women. And she came with 300 armed female warriors. And to the amazement of the Greeks, She rode straight up to Alexander and leapt off her horse. Alexander said, "Why have you come?" And she said, "I've come to have a child by you. You're the greatest conqueror in the world, and I'm superior to any woman in courage and strength. So imagine what a child we could have between us." There's many ill-matched couples have made that mistake in history. But Alexander, of course, was delighted. But the historian Curtius says his appetite was not as great as hers, and he spent 13 days trying to satisfy her. Finally, he gave her rich presents, and off she went back to her own country, and he went back over the Elburz Mountains and headed towards Afghanistan.